What's going on, guys? So we are still out here at Brinkley Plant 7 Model G plant filming the production process. We are 3 videos in now. This is the 3rd video. Go back and watch the first 2 if you want to see all the crazy information about frame structure, lag bolts, attachment, all of that stuff. Then watch the 2nd video if you want to learn more about the cabinetry aspect, just the precision that goes into building these RVs. Now this video, we're going to continue down the line. We have Nate Goldenberg with us, who is going to continue to be our tour host. Hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, Nate, so we've already done 2 really good videos that have not really got us too far along because there's so much stuff going on. But so far, man, you're doing such incredible work. All right, let's continue on.
All right, so people wonder why, you know, Brinkley's cost more, and it's a lot of things. But one thing I'll show you is, if you notice how clean these walls are, look at the lumber we're using. The pocket door we build out of welded aluminum. That's so that thing never flexes or bows. If you've ever opened them and they've gotten caught, or you hear something dragging,
yeah,
that's why we put aluminum in there.
Okay.
Notice your routes.
Oh yeah. Everything's routed out perfectly too. You don't have these giant gaudy holes that look like somebody took a pair of
like a beaver with chewing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tight. First off, notice how clean your cuts are.
Absolutely.
So we're just grabbing this randomly, obviously. But then see these build tables? They can lay all the cabinets out perfectly. They use pneumatic clamps, and that's how we get everything so tight.
So that is different. So I've seen these tables before where things are laid out, but I've never actually seen pneumatic clamps to actually hold things in place.
Oh yeah. So this is pretty revolutionary for us. So we completely build the roof sections offline. So all the routing is done over here. So none of this sawdust or debris goes into the roof of the unit. If you look down there, typically,
oh wow,
they're routing these over the unit.
Yeah.
We don't want any of that dust or debris in the coach for the customer. So then what we'll do is we'll flip this thing over completely, and then we grab this hoist, we hoist it out, and we drop the whole roof down at one time. In the past, we would do it in 4-foot sections. You'd get to the end and have to hit it with a hammer because it didn't line up. Now everything is exact.
Oh, that's awesome. So as far as the roofing membrane, so people, if there's one thing that people ask me, why Brinkley? You guys are using a TPO roof?
Well, actually, I'll show you. We use a poly roof.
Okay.
It's a hard roof, so you'll like it.
Is that on all your products, or?
No, so we can only use it on flat roofs.
Okay.
So like on Z, we have a pretty extreme bend in the front, so we have to run a soft roof. But on G, we run a poly.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Impact Guard. It's actually out of Pennsylvania, domestic. So.
Very cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Okay, so show me what's going on with this floor system. Explain to me what's going on with the floor system right here, because that looks different than I've seen before.
So we're huge on safety. So we actually just got our workers' comp insurance lowered because we've had so few safety claims.
Really?
So we really invest in it heavily. But these telescope out, and then Josh has room to work out here, but he can't fall through. There's no big open holes.
Yeah.
So this telescopes towards the unit. So regardless of what size it is, we can extend it.
That is really cool. And safety isn't just about insurance, of course. It also keeps employees happier too, when they know that they're not put in a position where they're going to get injured at work.
100%. So our employees are our #1 asset. 100%. So we invest heavily on protecting them. That's no BS. I mean,
well, you can tell this entire factory is set up specifically around safety to build the product. It's just absolutely incredible what I'm seeing. Okay, so Nate, you were about to explain something to me, then I said, wait a second, people need to hear this. So I'm actually gonna record what he's talking about. So you got this cool area right here with all sorts of different fasteners. You wanna talk about what's going on here?
Yeah, JD, we're really starting to nerd out here, but let's go. All right, so we work with a company called Fastener. It's a nationwide fastener company, and you can go into any fastener, and there's what's called the BRINKLEY Bible for fasteners. And every fastener we use, they have available. So if customers or dealers ever need our screws for a specific area, they stock them nationwide. So when we use screws, let's say this is empty, we put it up here and it automatically reorders the screw.
Oh, that is cool. That is really cool. But one thing I want to point out here, that's a structural screw.
Yeah.
So you're using more screw assortments than I've seen most other companies, which is really cool. A lot of times I see companies try to use like 2 screws for everything.
No, oh no. So it all depends on the application. And we actually work with fastener engineers, believe it or not, for the specific application. So everything is intentional here. The guys don't just grab screws. Everything has a reason.
Yep, no, that is really cool. Because I've heard horror stories where because of the lack of specific screws will go through things and they have no idea that it even happened until a customer sees it later.
It's one of the biggest issues in our industry, and it sounds stupid, but if you think about it, you can engineer anything you want amazing, right? But
hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, I just had to see them do that real quick. All right, continue.
So you can engineer it however you want, but if you don't have the right fastener, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it could break. You could break it running in. I mean, if you use a case hardened screw with an impact, this is not case hardened, you can crack it.
Yep.
I mean,
well, and a lot of people, what they don't realize is the difference between what those 2 screws do when they meet contact point with the head. This can very easily split a piece of wood, whereas this one compresses the wood. So it's understanding specifically what type of fastener is needed for what application. And a lot of them have very different types of screw heads made for very different types of applications.
Yeah.
So that is really cool. So this is what Nate was talking about earlier when it comes to collecting all of the sawdust and debris that drops through during the production of the RV. I mean, check this out. He's sweeping it out right now. And in many RVs, this is what you will find when you start dropping panels down, pulling puck lighting out, and other type of fixtures. You find all of this debris still up there. So that is really cool that they get from all of that to a very, very clean roof system. And of course, you got more wiring harnesses over here, so I want to try to... My goodness. That's probably 40 pounds of wiring harness right there. Yep. And that's just the ceiling harness. So the reason I'm referencing this is because in the very first video, I showed you the floor harness. And this is all 12 volt. This isn't 120 yet. This is 12 volt. Between this harness and the other harness, you're well over 100 pounds.
Level 2 of the clean roofs, you'll notice this proprietary contraption. We actually also route all of our roof panels offline. So these are stacked in order, but any holes or anything we need, see that one in the corner?
Yep.
So we route everything over here. We stack them on this lift. This lift will go over, grab that pallet, lift it up. The guys run it out and they flip them into position. So there's literally no routing on the roof at all. We also used to carry the sheets out by hand. Now everything's done with a remote on this lift. When it comes back, they put the foil down for the roof insulation.
That's a thick foil too.
Yeah, it's real. So you can get a lot of this stuff that's more sales pitch. This is from the same company out of Houston. So very legit.
Yeah, that's a very thick foil, and it's hard to express that. Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, here, I'll show you. So notice when we walk down here, all of your wire routing on every unit will be exactly the same. And we actually have prints that we could say, hey, to get to this wire, pop this light down. It's the right on the inside.
That's awesome.
Yeah, every unit is the same.
The way you do things make it so much easier, not only for service centers to work on them, but even an end user who needs to diagnose the problem and get to it. That is incredible.
Yeah, so this will, I'll show you from the inside. So there's actually a wall panel that removes where you can access all the Deutsch connectors inside the wall from floor to ceiling. So
question for you. So feedback, Ivan, maybe you do this. So when you say prints to show where wiring are, what type of prints are they? Diagrams or? Well,
we have a couple different versions. So we have the harness print, which is the actual what they build the harness off of. We have a service print, which is more of a user-friendly layout, but we actually have it in the SolidWorks model. So we could send a screenshot and say, hey, you know, it goes up this wall 2 foot and then it branches off. So it just depends what level of detail we need to get to.
I have a suggestion.
Sure.
What if for each floor plan or model, you took a high definition shot of pictures, actually breaking down the top of the RV like this? So a picture of the top, picture of the top, picture of the top, and maybe you put those high definition pictures on a thumb drive or something. So if there is a problem, diagrams are great, schematics are great, but when it actually comes to locating a wire, sometimes it's difficult to go, I know where that wire is, I know what it looks like, I know that it's actually gonna V off right here or Y out into this area. But if somebody actually has a picture of it, and they're like, oh wow, I can actually see that's where these 2 wires are. They put it right there. And it's just a high definition, maybe like 5 or 6 really high definition pictures.
It's a good one. Honestly, it would be so much easier than some of the prints we do. I mean, we'll probably still do them, but if we could send a dealer a shot and we could put a camera up there and just shoot it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it would just have to be of a specific model.
So they actually have a 0 point on the harness. So when they lay it and roll it out, it's precise. So you notice any sawdust at all?
I noticed he was blowing everything. I mean, like any little bit of dust, they were blowing off. That is really, really awesome that you guys do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesse and Caesar, they do a great job. So.
All right, so Nate, some manufacturers use like a steel or aluminum truss system. Some use wood. Why do you prefer wood?
Well, it's easy to attach. They're pretty lightweight. Like we have a plywood version that we run in some of the other plants that's quite a bit heavier, but good weight rating, affordable. You don't get any moisture buildup. Like if you used aluminum tube, you'd have to be concerned about condensation. For us, it's just tried and true. We have a really good supplier that builds them for us. They're consistent, and we just don't have any problems.
I think that's the key, tried and true. It's one thing to innovate for the sake of innovating. It's another thing to not innovate if what is working good.
Yeah. So,
and you would know. I mean, you produce enough of these, and I don't hear problems with your roof system.
We're always open-minded to look at other stuff, but.
Okay, so you stopped me in this area because you wanted to point something out. What's going on down there?
Well, what I was pointing out is you can see this is construction, right? There's a lot of debris, but one thing that we do to make sure the end result is good for the customer is we actually vacuum and blow out the units in every single station.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, we just sent you a unit. You know, it didn't go through any special inspection. There probably wasn't much debris, was there?
Very, very little. There was a tiny little bit around the sink in the bathroom, and then a little tiny bit near one of the nightstands. But that was actually a comment that I made.
We got some work to do then.
No, but I made the comment that I've had many long-term review units, and the first time you open it up and you walk through it, there's a lot of debris everywhere. But for the amount of debris that I saw, I was blown away. Yeah. I was actually shocked by it. And I made that comment in the video, and I actually recorded my first steps into the RV after being delivered over 1,000 miles, because this is what a lot of people don't understand. When you guys sent me that unit, it never went to a dealership for a PDI. Right. It did your PDI here. It got picked up by a hotshot driver, driven down to Texas, never vacuumed out, never cleaned. It didn't have a dealership go through it, try to fix anything, nothing. It arrived in the condition that it arrived. And the only thing that I saw was 2 little areas and one other one. There's a rubber O-ring that was missing around the sprayer. That was it. But the way I saw it though is, I mean, these are people. You don't see robots doing any of this.
Nope.
And it was probably somebody who was putting it on, it maybe fell, and then it came off when it fell and hit the ground, the little end. And then they put it on not thinking. But, I mean, I had the part. Why stress out over something so minor when, in fact, it's one of those things that could happen.
Yep.
And it was a very, very minor thing. So
yeah.
I didn't see it as any big issue because I was able to fix it in less than a minute. All right, so as we continue to work our way down the production line here, we're gonna actually have to move on to video number 4. So this video went over a lot of really good info. We're now 4 videos in. Hopefully you've enjoyed this series so far. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up, move to the next one. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.